Want entertainment designed just for you? Then check out customizable streaming TV from Xfinity. It makes your life simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity gives you customizable streaming TV options. Enjoy the most free shows anywhere on any device, and even access your streaming apps right on your TV with X1. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to learn more. Restrictions apply.
You will just steer for it anyway, full steam ahead. Why? Because you want to sink. You gave up.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the planet. Not giving up. Revolution Radio. Radio.
Take a look around, kid. What do you see? Homes being foreclosed. People working 2-3 jobs just to put food on the table and still drowning in debt. Don't get me wrong. This country was founded on great ideals and principles. They've all been ruined by the banks. Open your eyes to banks that are robbing you. You know who my favorite president was? Who? Thomas Jefferson. Because he saw all of this coming and tried to stop it. He fought the banks. JFK too, and they killed him for it. The banking institution is more dangerous than an army, he said. He also said that every generation needs a revolution, Jimmy. The American dream is just that. Just a dream. War is a continuation of politics, only by other means. Politics is a continuation of economics by other means. This is our bank. This is our war. And this is our plan of attack.
Banks have become an essential threat to our democracy. So consider this justice.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio! The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
There is a time to question. There is a time for answers. There is a time to challenge.
You're live. I skipped that.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stargate to the Cosmos on Revolution.radio. And I'm your host, Janet Lesson, with my co-host, Dr. Sasha Alex Lesson. And today we have Kevin Estrella and Karen Patrick. Hopefully we get them on. And we have a special guest whose name is General Hendricks, and he was a super soldier that worked under the reptilians. He is 40% reptilian and the rest human. He has a lot of memories of his time in the secret space program. He had training programs and mission work like time travel and warfare. He's also a starseed from a planet named Ykarta, Ykarta, and on that planet, those beings are a six-dimensional race, and they traveled here to the Earth in a crew of 5 in lightships. And he's also part of the Tree of Life Creed. So I met General Hendricks at Contact in the Desert, which we just got back from a few days ago, which was incredibly awesome. And we're still getting people on, so I'm stalling. Dr. Lesson, are you there? Would you like to
Yes,
speak
indeed,
on
I
this?
am.
Did you meet General Hendricks at the conference?
Oh, sure did.
We were so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very nice young man, and he's got a lot of wisdom, and we're going to be letting him speak for the first 15 or 20 minutes or whatever, and then ask a lot of questions. But go ahead. What did you want to say, General Hendricks, on?
We are delving into a widespread phenomenon that has been hushed up, which is how people are in the service of corporate entities and other species and with missions here on Earth to do stuff, and it's coming out more and more and more and more and more people are realizing, oh my gosh, I seem to have lived this second life. I think of my friend Stuart Swerdlow, who would he had a regular job, and then he worked all night while he was in a program at some other job. He didn't realize that he was the boss of this whole other thing. And it's just like, oh, lots of people are discovering they've had this other life that's been going on with the same time as this life, but it doesn't take all the time of this life away.
Right. So bear with us, everybody. We're going to do a sound check with our co-host, but we are going to delve into this on this show and many other shows. We go roundtable with various secret space program experiencers. We're getting the total scoop. Yeah. Language. The total scoop, the story, which will free humanity, basically. It will free us. Let's do our first sound check with Karen Patrick. Oops. Go ahead, Karen. I'm going to see what I can do about getting General. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to mute while I address this. Go ahead.
Does
talk.
that ring a bell for you?
Because it sounds magical. Sounds very magical. Hey, Sasha, I wanted to follow up with what you just said. I basically had confirmation that I'm in the same boat as Stuart Swerdlow as of December. I had that confirmation. I have been working through that experience as well. And it came in a really strange way, and I'm kind of stunned, but it makes a lot of sense to me personally. I have these repetitive dreams that are like they were a memory, basically, and so now it makes a lot of sense. So me too.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, when we went to Contact in the Desert, that's what I spent most of my time doing, is talking to these people in these programs. I spent hours with different ones. I mean, I hardly even got a chance to go to the main speakers because I began to find this network of people, particularly younger people, that are in programs just like I was, and the Monarch programs and all that sort of stuff didn't stop. They told us it did, but it didn't. And so I kept finding that really got me jazzed up. It's like makes me want to support them in this realization that they're going through.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry I had to tune you guys out for a moment because I'm getting our guest on. So let me pass the talking stick to Kevin Estrella, and we're still working on getting General Hendricks on. Kevin, are you there?
I am here. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're juggling people again. We always do this.
Juggling people.
How is it for you? Yeah, you can have this image of me tossing people and pulling them into the queue and answering the phone. And anyway, we're having a great time because we're networking with all these people that are experiencers and in the secret space program. But go ahead, Kevin. Catch us up on what's new with you. You're going to be taking off some time here for your kids' soccer games. It's that time of year, right?
Yes.
You're not leaving us. You're just going to be being a good dad. You got to be a good dad.
Just being a good dad. My son decided to go back to soccer again, which makes me ecstatic because I don't get to see my kids that often. So every second Tuesday, I won't be able to attend be here, but I'll still be around for every second of the other Tuesdays. So.
Well, we'll miss you, but we'll carry on. Everybody has to do their part, so that's wonderful. So I think we have General Hendricks here. Do you have anything else you want to say before I pull him into the queue here?
I don't have anything new right now. Nope.
Okay, well, this is going to be a fascinating guest, so we're going to have lots of questions in about 15 minutes after we let him start talking. Okay, so General Hendricks, are you there? Do we have you now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you for coming on our show today. So at this beginning part, we would love to kind of give you the talking stick mic. It's an invisible virtual talking stick that we pass around. And we're going to do our best to not interrupt you, but at some point we might say, hey, I've got to address that. So we're going to just let you talk, and then we will start asking questions. The commercial will come at the top of the hour. We'll have to stop and do our spiel, and then we'll be back for the second hour. So take it away, General Hendricks, and tell us, how did you get to be called General Hendricks? What happened?
Okay, well, hello, everyone. My Earth name is Joel Lakey. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. How this all came to be was when I was 6 years old. I was taken into these programs in my elementary school in Canada, and we were doing special testing on us. They made it sound like we were like kids that needed extra help, but it was like kids for special abilities or thinking programs. And then after that, I was taken away into like an area on the moon, and I was allowed to pick a program of my choosing, and I didn't understand why I had so much freedom of why I get to pick things. And there was like an iPad screen in front of me, and it was like a signature thing. So if you picked a program, that was you accepting this program. And I remember there was 5 options, and I remember one of the options said Mars, and then underneath that said World Elite. So I would click on Mars because I had past reincarnations there. So I just wanted to kind of go back home and visit it. And then I was taken off into a lab, and I remember this all came back to me when I was 26. I'm also 31 now. So I was taken into a lab where I was tied to a metal machine, and it was very high up, probably 20 feet off the ground. And I remember looking to the left and right of me, there's 2 large cylinders of red reptilian blood, and then there was a pink substance of really high, it was like very glossy pink goo or what it was. And I remember them putting a needle in my heart and then a needle down my top of my shoulder, and they started to pump all this blood and this pink goo into me. And I remember I passed out, and then I woke up on the ground, and I looked in a mirror, and I was 8 feet tall, anywhere between 700 and 1,000 pounds heavier. I was bright white skin, like super clear skin with a little bit of like scales on it. I was in a blue jumpsuit with a little emblem on my left chest. I can't remember what that looked like. My eyes were like reptilian eyes, but it was like a cross. My eyes looked like a cross. I had very muscular structure. I was very, one thing I noticed that was a weird thing, I had no emotions. The only emotion I had was aggression and discipline. And then I remember being in school and like classroom, and then we'd be in a gymnasium, and they would start to train us how to fight one-on-one hand combat against each other. And it was like pretty gruesome. Like they would teach us how to like snap necks, like break legs and stuff like that. But our bodies were very powerful compared to what we were used to. All these memories come back like it's like a movie trailer. It's like little bits and pieces over time. So I also remember the training programs in Utah, the underground bases that we had. A lot of us tried to escape because they would try to test us to make sure we were completely docile, that our old lives we don't remember, and that we were completely emotionless, and that they would make us do, absurd things like jump off a 100-foot cliff without hesitation, or like go kill a being without hesitation, et cetera, like that. But then our higher consciousness would kick in, and we'd start to remember who we are, and then we'd like escape. And we escaped a few times, but even though when we escaped, they would hunt us down and capture us, and then they'd reprogram our brains until they made us completely perfect. There's lots of memories I have like that, but I should go back to like how this all started for me. I was 26 years old, and before that, I was just a normal kid that would like go out partying, drinking, and Jersey Shore lifestyle type stuff. And then one day I was in a field walking around, and my body started to glow bright white. And I looked up in the sky because maybe I thought there was a spotlight on my head, but there was pitch black out. There was no helicopters, nothing. I just glowed really bright white. So I was kind of weirded out about that. And I went to bed that night, and I was taken out of my body. I was placed on a ship that was orbiting Earth, because when I was on the ship, I could see Earth below me in the windows. And these beings came up to me, and they were like tall white beings, and their skin glowed really bright, and you could see their eyes, but you couldn't really see facial recognition. They had silver bright armor on, and I just asked a question like, who am I? And they projected in my mind, you are from the world Ykarta. That's my home world that I came here from. And the reason I say that is because a lot of secret space program people, they use Starseeds that incarnate on Earth to use their abilities for the secret space programs, because we are more used to space than humans are, so we're easier to program. That's the basic of the story. I have lots more I can go into, but if you want to ask any questions of what you want me to get into, then you can, and then I can enlighten you on it.
Well,
okay,
what are those the tall whites like? What was their demeanor? What was their attitude? Tell me about the tall whites,
so
please.
Every time I have a meeting with any alien groups, they always project love, happiness, and kindness, and not to worry about anything. You're in a safe zone. They project that feeling into your body because they're telepath. So you're never ever scared to ever meet them. And they just looked at me, and that was like the first domino effect of my memories to come back. And that's when I was 26. And then that's how from 26 to 31, every night I'd go to bed, I was taken out of my body and shown all my memories of the secret space programs, the other worlds I've been to, my home world, the wars I fought in, the reptilians I worked under. I worked directly with the Dark Fleet. I came in as a private. I worked my way up to General Hendricks. I was involved with time travel warfare. I fought in World War I, World War II. I was also sent back to the Babylonian warfare in the Roman times. Like I've been all over the place. Like I remember things that make us do, but like with no emotion, there's no, I didn't care what I was doing, if that makes any sense. Emotion is a very thing that humans have to understand. If you don't have emotion, you can do anything you want, pretty much.
But what mission did they have for you? What did they want of you? Why did they choose you? What did they want from you, Kevin? What did they want from you?
Why was they taken onto their ship?
Yeah, and why particularly you? Yes, what's your mission? Why did they choose you?
Well, at the beginning, I had no idea. I thought I was just hallucinating. I thought I had a great imagination. I should start writing movies or books or something. But over time, what they showed me is that the reason they chose all Starseeds come here like a free will choice. There's over 60 million of us here, and it's our job to help mankind awaken for each purpose of value. Each Starseed incarnates into different lifestyles, and most Starseeds have a hard life here because we have to live a certain lifestyle to understand a certain problem to fix it. They chose me to do the secret space program and the military side and to work directly with the reptilians because in my past incarnations, I've chose to live among reptilians. My bloodline is 40% reptilian and 60% human on this planet.
So
thank you.
Thank you. Joel, how did you get the name Hendricks, General Hendricks, when your last name is Lakey? How do you pronounce your last name?
My real name, my soul name is Ykarta. That's the home world I'm from. We're a 6th density race. I incarnated onto planet Earth, and then my given name from my parents, my human parents, is Joel, and their last name's Lakey. right? That's my human name. But then when I was in the secret space program, I'm not sure where the Hendricks name came from. That's what just the people would address me as General Hendricks. I don't know where that name came from. Yeah.
You think that was given to you along when you got the title, or might that
well,
be?
You don't use your human names. You use alias names. So the alias could have been a General Hendricks. Yeah.
Hendricks. Okay. And then you mentioned that you traveled back in time to, and I am typing this up a little bit for the description because I didn't have much of a description, so bear with me if you hear some typing noises, but I do want to put a better description in the page for the show. But you traveled back in time to both World War I and II. So tell us a little bit more, flesh out a little bit more. What was your mission? They sent you, right?
Okay, so what time travel warfare is there's a lot of alien groups that wanted to go back in time in our timeline to change the outcome of our future so that we don't awaken. There's a lot of distinct points in history where battles or certain wars have turned different outcomes of the future of our planet. It's the same movie as that Tom Cruise movie where he keeps doing time travel looping. So what it would be to send us back to World War I or World War II to do certain missions to protect these certain group of peoples, because these people's destiny was to end the war. And alien groups would know that because they know your destiny timelines, and we'll go back and kill certain people because those certain people had their destiny to end the war. And if those people were killed, then that end of the war outcome would be completely different for us. So what they would do is they send us back in time, and we would do our mission. But if we were killed, they'd loop us back in time, and then we'd do it over again until we got it correct.
So you could be killed, but there's no real death. You're just recovered, and that actually you can't kill.
Who did you protect?
But you can kill the avatar.
Who are you
protecting? All of our bodies are avatars.
Yeah.
Who are you protecting?
I was protecting certain groups of soldiers. I don't know their names. I was just sent there to protect these group of soldiers, show them how to disarm certain type of bombs in a faster way so they wouldn't go blow up, or go back in time and fight against other alien groups in a camouflage way so that other people wouldn't notice us. It was like fighting behind the scenes.
Were these soldiers in American uniforms or any uniforms or you could recognize?
I was in a uniform. I was blended in, but they knew by just looking at me and my abilities, like getting shot and not dropping type thing, that I was a lot different than they were. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Robert Heinlein in Time Enough for Love covered this phenomenon of looping back in time, and he was sent back many times, and then his family in this fiction. But I think Heinlein was one of the first generation whistleblowers. He was in the Navy, and he was trying to tell us what was actually going on. So did you get any insights as to how this technology developed? Who brought it to the secret space program? Was this alien technology, human technology, ancient aliens? Where did that come from?
I can blow the whistle on how they got it, but I don't know who gave it to them. So what they did in the 1960s is the Americans made an agreement with certain alien groups that they would trade human people for technology because our diversity of our bloodlines was so popular amongst the aliens. Because we have so many races mixed with bloodlines, they wanted to use us for genetic research. So that's how they gained most of their technology. That's why some cities would disappear overnight in the States. There'd be small little cities that would just disappear overnight, of like 40,000 people just disappear. And over 800,000 children per year go missing in the States alone up to this date. It's an average number that keeps happening every year. They'll trade women for sex slaves. They'll trade men for worker slaves. And they'll trade like little boys and girls for food sources for certain alien groups, and they'll trade it for technology.
Wow. Okay, I want to give the talking stick to our colleagues. Let's start with this. Let's go boy, girl, boy, girl. I was just talking. We'll give it to Kevin. And Kevin, when you're done talking, pass the stick to Karen, please. Okay, take it away, Kevin. What would you like to comment, or what questions do you have?
Well, I'm curious to understand a little bit more about this process that happened to you, where they infused your blood. So was this activating something that was already inside you, or was it something that completely changed you, like metamorphosis of a butterfly into a?
I can totally explain that. So surface humans are a genetic mixture race of 22 different alien beings, and out of that 22 different alien beings is 1/20th or 1/22nd reptilian, which is our brains. The perfect fighting machine is the most uninvolved machine in the world, which is a reptilian soldier. They haven't evolved in billions of years because they have the perfect machine. So when they wanted to create a super soldier, they inject reptilian blood into a human body, plus they add this pink substance. I don't know what it is, but it will transform our genetics that are there's a lot of genetics that are unlocked. It'll unlock them to make us into a certain type of soldier or new being, and the being that came out of it was the perfect fighting machine. Then they'll start doing manipulation with your brain, where they'll remove emotion, they'll put memory blocks and things, so you become the perfect soldier. You'll do whatever they want without asking. When they first started traveling the galaxy and they didn't have super soldiers, like say the American soldier that was just a normal person, and he was sent to Mars to fight a reptilian, he would get slaughtered in seconds because he couldn't fight against a 1,000-pound reptilian. So they had to find some type of way of creating a new soldier that could fight against, be a match for these beings. If that makes any sense.
Is there a war going on right now?
Yeah, what's going on?
There's a war. Like right now, I got picked up by the reptilians, and I'm now fighting. I was retired, and then now I was brought back in to do mission work. So how it will work is I'll go to bed in my bed. Then the reptilians will come and visit me, take my consciousness out of my body, throw me into another super soldier body, and now we have wars in southern Brazil and Argentina. There's underwater bases there where they have the child sex slave rings, and they have the human trafficking down there. So there's these underground water bases where there's these hundreds of kids and boys and girls looking at this blue light, and they're like entranced with it. And it was our job to go in there and liberate these people, because there's a group of factions of reptilians that, just like there's good and evil in humans, there's good and evil in reptilians. And so I'm working on the good side to help liberate against evil. Like there's a lot of like disturbing people that live on this planet. So.
Wow. So I was going to ask a question. I forgot. I'm calling Lincoln down to ask questions at the same time. So I can only do one thing, but I will do what I can to document this so we have this for the description. Okay, Karen, what are your questions and feedback, and then we'll keep going on the table here.
Yeah, that's great. I have just an observation. I was tested in kindergarten in the 1960s, so I've been now asking the question as experiencers. I now know these programs were done in Canada all the way from probably even the late 50s all the way to the present day.
Canada,
and also,
UK, US,
yeah. And they used to do, I don't know if they do both, but they seem to go for the extreme ends of the spectrum. So it is gifted and talented, but I have another experiencer who, on the other end of that, who went through the special education program. And it seemed like it was easier for them to manage the kids, because if the kid was dissociating or having any kind of difficulty with their experiences, they could sort of write it off as their learning disability or something like that.
That's exactly how they caught us, yeah. They would make us feel like we're dumb.
Right. They want you to have your self-esteem to be in the toilet, basically, when they use you.
Yeah, Starseeds learn different, and we don't understand a human's learning culture, so that's how they know we're Starseeds.
Oh, trust me, I get more. The older I get, the more I do not fit in with the society.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, Starseeds are like the black sheep of any group. That's how they catch you, because you will fail in the schooling system when you're actually very smart. So.
Right, exactly. You'll have sort of like an extremity of, abilities, but I had a dysnumeria and math, basically math, just like we had, and dyscalculia, but I was like off the charts on everything else. What kind of testing did they do with you? I'm curious. I'm trying to kind of map this part of the program out of the testing process.
The testing that they had for us that I can remember, because remember this is still coming back. It's like a movie trailer to me. The testing that they did to us was like they would take us. We'd do normal schooling with other kids, but the one thing Starseeds are empaths and psychics. So when we would be in a classroom with other people, we'd be frustrated because of all the energies around us. They would consume our inner energy, and then they would take us to these classrooms and they would make us do paperwork in groups of 5. And there would be a bunch of teachers standing behind us watching us do this paperwork. And then whatever score of like questions we'd fill out, that's how they determined how you would be good service to them, if you could be a leadership, or if you could be a military, if you could be a builder, or if you could even be in their program. They always have a small program in every elementary school and in the UK, United States, and Canada to seek out these kids.
Please mute when you're not talking, because we're getting a lot of background noise. Okay, thank you. So go ahead, continue, Joel. Somebody was making a lot of rattling noises. Okay. Yeah, okay.
I would ask one question. Yeah, it could be electronic interference that seems to happen on these kind of shows. They don't like us to talk about it.
Oh, it's the AI, man.
Yeah, I know. Did you have tests with dinner cards? Those are the EFT cards. That's one question I try to ask everybody. There's a little triangle and a wavy line and all that.
I'm not sure. I don't remember actual details. I just remember that being in the classrooms, and I remember doing this paperwork, and I remember them making us feel like this is your special class, and we're always taking out of class all the time. Same as Corey Good's story. I told them my story at Contact, and I told Ken Johnson my story and Yvonne Smith, and they didn't even blink. That's how amazed they were by the story. It's just those similar stories of how they were testing us, but there's a lot of memory blocks still in my head. It's just I remember being in class, then I remember being on the moon, being transformed into a soldier. Then I remember being in a classroom. Then I remember being sent to Mars, doing the 20 back programs, and then flying over the universe, timeline, travel warfare, and then I wake up back in my bed. I'm just I write all of these memories down.
Oh, that's good. So I'll pass a stick, but before I do, look it up, DENER, and actually look at the cards. You even get an app for your phone and see if that triggers any memories for you. Because I'm finding a lot of people had that test, and that might jog something out for you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the stick. Hey, General, I'd like to really know, because of my way of looking at things, how did your mother or the other people in your family react to, and the other kids you knew? How did your other life do while you're doing this life?
Okay, I'll explain that completely vividly. So like I said, I brought my family down to Contact in the desert to kind of show them what it was all about, and my mom is very not into this stuff. I always just tell my mom as a kid that, hey, Mom, you're not really my mom, you're just my Earth mom, because I was still remembering my Starseed parents and where I come from as a child. That's why a lot of kids, you need to believe them when they see things. It's because they actually do see things. So I would tell my parents over time, you're just my Earth parents, don't get too attached to me, because every incarnation is just an avatar that you play. So every lifetime you live in is just an experience that you chose to experience by free will choice. So every lifetime you have a different set of parents and stuff like that. So I never got too attached to my parents or my brother. And then as I grew up, I noticed I was the black sheep in the family. Most Starseeds we don't have anything in common personality traits with our parents. We just look like them because they're biological parents here. And then over the years, I started after 26, I just started to be who I was. I stopped caring about my human side, and I started just to be my Ykarta side. And I decided just to, be who I was and spread the word of what my experience is. And then I started telling people my experiences, and 1 out of 10 people would believe me. Then 5 out of 10 people would believe me. Then I went to Contact the Desert last year, and I found people that were just like me, and I started networking after that. And then as I brought my mom and my parents to Contact this year, my dad is a 100% firm believer. He didn't blink once during David Wilcox's presentations. And now my mom, she's starting to come around to it. So.
Wow.
Do you know Kevin Trimmel by chance?
Kevin Trimmel?
Trimmel, yeah.
Trimmel. Trimmel. We'll have you go on with him. You guys will need to connect the dots, and because and you might have some other names for us. Joel.
I don't really have names. I just have faces.
Faces. Okay, but if you encounter anybody, now that you're coming out and people will be contacting you, we like to do panels with several secret space program super soldiers and other individuals. Some people are not have not risen as high as you in the rankings. So some people are pleading.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I've also figured out with my story is that I was one of the only insiders that have come out that I work with the Dark Fleet. A lot of them just worked in the Secret Space Program. What a Dark Fleet means is you work directly with reptilians. The reason why I work directly with reptilians is because I am half reptilian, so I am their brother or sister. To a reptilian, they are very loyal to their bloodlines. If you are reptilian, you are them, even if you are half reptilian, half human. So when I'd be on the bridge of a Dark Fleet ship, I would be on a carrier with them, and there would be a reptilian like white royal who would be there. The one that I served under command, he was about 12 feet tall, and he was in a battle, so he had some scars. So the top of his skull was missing, and he had a glass.
Oh, he had a glass top to his skull.
Oh, did we lose him?
Broke up a little bit. Are you there? Yeah, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. So he had a glass dome over his brain. You could see it. He had the reptilian eyes, and I would work directly under him. So he was a royal, and I was his general.
So maybe you can explain to us a little bit about the organizational structure of, existence of. Is this a reptilian-controlled planet? Or what do you know about what's going on?
Okay, for example, if you want a full disclosure on your planet, read the book Alien World. I can't remember the guy that wrote it, but if you just Google Alien World, you can read that book. It's a completely full disclosure of how this planet came to be. So what happened, a little small brief story of it, is about 500,000 years ago, the reptilians came here, and they brought their food source with them, which was known as the dinosaurs. And they lived here among the humanoids that lived here among the time. Then the humanoids were starting to get wiped out by these dinosaurs, so another group of Andromedans would come in and would wipe out the food source of the dinosaurs. That's what ended the dinosaurs, and that's what made the reptilians start to starve. So there was an agreement of a treaty that the reptilians and the Andromedans, the Pleiadians, and the Greys all made with each other that they want to create a new surface being called Homo sapiens to rule the planet on the surface only. So the surface of the planet is also known as an open cattle range. You are the food source of reptilians. And you're also the genetic researchers of the other alien species that rule this world.
Right. And that is Len Kasten. Let's see, Alien World Order, it's called. Yeah.
Oh,
Len Kasten's going to be. Yeah, Len Kasten's going to be at my conference that we're doing, which we are doing. A group is formed.
Amazing book.
What is it called? Stargate to the Cosmos, right? And he's going to be one of our speakers. So in the meanwhile, before the conference, I'm going to see if I can get you two on together so you can talk a little bit more of the history of how
that guy knows everything. He's amazing. Yeah, he connects all the dots too, from the beginning of the universe to the empire, of the reptilian empire, all the way to Hitler, Germany, all the way to modern day society. It's insane how accurate he got it.
Yeah, well, he's a very good researcher, and he's following the line of thread from several other researchers. So Dr. Liss and I are going in a little bit different direction, but we're all converging on the quote-unquote the truth, right? So, okay, I'm going to pass the talking stick to the next person. I've lost track of who's next. Somebody raise your hand. Speak up. Who wants to talk?
Kevin, right? Kevin.
Me.
No. That's Who? Karen. You want Kevin to have the talking stick, or you want to talk to Joel? Joel is General Hendricks.
Oh, Kevin Estrella is the next contestant.
Okay, next contestant. Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, I'm just thinking here because I relate a lot to you in regards to I too am a starseed, and I've always kind of known it, but it was my official awakening was August 21st, 2014, when a craft flew across my backyard, and then everything started changing from there. But I too have a lot of reptilian, what do you call it, background or history. My earliest, one of my earliest incarnations was actually in ancient Egypt as a reptilian general. But I also had the incredible experience of when I attended the Alien Cosmic exhibition in Toronto last year. There's a guy from MUFON who was doing a presentation, and he was talking very negatively about reptilians, particularly these Alpha Draconians. That his this person this case study he was doing, and the girl drew a picture of this Alpha Draconian, red scales with wings, and I knew exactly, for some reason, who this being was. But then what happened basically was when he came back full round, he started talking negatively about reptilians again, and all of a sudden this voice came inside me and said, well, if you're not going to say anything, then I am. And then this Alpha Draconian came in through me, and basically I became a telepathic translator for this huge Alpha Draconian. He must have been like 12 or 14 feet big. My back expanded. I felt his body. I felt these huge wings on my back. My voice dropped really low, and I had a talk with this guy about not calling people black or white or or good or evil based on looks, because these are my people, and we are watching you. And we are in the room. Yeah. We are in the room right now, and we are observing you. And he was scared out of his mind. He dropped his presentation and he left. And I
can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the feeling, the power of this being inside me was incredible.
Insane power, yeah. I can relate that to a story I had once. So a lot of this is before Earth. So a lot of my past reincarnations, I've been on reptilian worlds. I could describe the world to you, like the beautiful architecture of it. Every reptilian world that I've been to, that I've been incarnated on, they live in towers. These towers are probably like 500 feet to 1,000 feet tall, 300 feet wide. Every level of the tower is based on society structure. So if you live at the very top, you're probably royalty. If you live at the very bottom, you're probably poverty. One of my incarnations was I was a hybrid. I was a reptilian and a hybrid humanoid, and my parents were one of the richest families on the world, and I was a single child. And I remember I would rebel as a teenager, child would. And I remember I got into a lot of trouble, and I had 2 reptilian girlfriends, and they were full reptilian. They weren't hybrids. And but since reptilians are geneticists, these women were like designed to please you. That's a very big thing in the book called Alien World that they talk about. So the sexuality of these beings, they would get into your mind. They would just like do it, like they would just make you obsessed with them. That was their design job. Anyway, so I got into a lot of trouble on the home planet. And then as being a reptilian, I learned what their perception is, because there's no such thing as right or wrong. It's just right or wrong perception of a being's mind. To a bird, a cat is wrong. To a cat is the cutest thing to us. So when you're a reptilian, their mind thinks of dominance and aggression. That's just who they are. They don't know what compassion or mercy is. That doesn't even compute in their brain. So that to them, it's not wrong. So if them eating a human being, that's just a snack to us. It's just like a human being eating a cow. That's just normal to them. So I was sent into, when I got into trouble, I was sent into military programs on their home planet. They would do 5-year training programs, and I'd grow from maybe an 8-foot reptilian to a 20-foot reptilian at the end of my training, and then I was ready for military service. And I remember those experiences very vividly, and imagine experiencing that, and then you wake up back in your body here on Earth, and you have to go, be a human for the day. And it's crazy experiences I've had.
Wow. Has anybody else had experiences with reptilians and wants to share the story and interaction?
I have my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Who wants to go
I can
next?
tell you, they were in my closet. There's a portal in my closet, and they come through my closet in their 4th dimensional AI projection bodies, because reptilians are 4th dimensional beings, so they live in a dimension above us. So for them to come in a 3rd dimensional realm, they'll project their holographic bodies in my house. So my girlfriend was sleeping one day, and they would come through my closet like they do at 3:26 a.m. all the time to come and get me. And they look scary as hell to a human, but to me, like, they look cute little fuzzy kittens to me. But my girlfriend saw them, and she was freaking out. But I was like, don't, just relax. And they would project, it's okay. Like, don't be scared of us. We're just here for your boyfriend, not for you. So.
I had a similar
What would they do
experience
for you?
May 12th. I'll have to tell you about it.
Okay, go ahead. You can tell your story. Go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
What happened May 12th?
I had a reptilian female visit me. It was crazy. And I went on the radio. I went on the radio about it a couple weeks ago. Basically, I woke up at 4:44 in the morning. Go figure. And I'm trying to get back to sleep, and then I'm in a alpha theta state where I'm almost asleep, but I'm halfway between sleep and awake, but I'm
I've been there. That's how they take me too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's where they interphase you.
Weird how they do that. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was, once I'm about to fall asleep, all of a sudden I hear this rustling in my bedroom, and I hear my duvet being moved around, and then I woke up, and then once I'm awake again, the sound's gone. And so then I'm starting to fall asleep again, and then I get into that state again where I'm almost asleep, and then I can hear the sound again. There's someone in my room, I'm like, there's a presence here. I know this. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to relax, and I'm just going to go under. And immediately, once I go under, someone crawls into bed next behind me, gets underneath the covers, and I felt this female presence, and she's got her back towards me, right? And she lies there for a second, to kind of test me to see if I'm afraid or not. And then she turns around, she flips me over onto my back, she mounts on top of me, and she's got pale green, very fine scaled face. Along her neck side and her ears was more like kind of bluish scales, kind of bluish green. And she had this almost like a what do you call it? Garlic like head, kind of bulbous, and she had this really cool blue mohawk. Well, was kind of coarse, awesome. like horse hair that was hanging over her face, right? And I just remember she took my right hand, and I see her holding my hand, and she has these long female 3 fingers and with long claws, and she takes my middle finger and she puts it in her mouth, and then she starts sliding my fingers across her sharp bottom tooth. And it was like this aggressive, aggressiveness, sexuality that was driving me crazy. It was nuts. And then
in a good way, right? Yeah.
In a very good way. I was completely aroused.
Their sexuality. They're amazing.
Yeah. And I flipped over her back, and the rest is history. But can you relate to that?
Oh, I didn't want to get in detail because I don't know what I can say on the show, but in my past experience where I had those 2 reptilian wives, the sexuality we'd go into a bedroom, and I remember they would both come up to me, and they were full reptilians, so they would open their mouth. They had the massive jagged teeth, they had the long fingers with the long nails and stuff like that, and I was just pretty because it's like me watching myself in a trailer, so I'm like, why am I not scared? What happens if they bite me, or they bite my sexual organs off or something like that? But they wouldn't. They were their job, because they're telepathic, so they'd go in your mind and they'd project everything you could ever want in a sexuality way. They would make you be obsessed with them sexually. It was that's why a lot of reincarnations I incarnate on planets. Oh yeah,
it worked. Holy cow.
A lot of incarnations I have are on reptilian worlds because I relate to them the best, and that's why I defend reptilians here. I'm trying to make peace talks with the reptilians and the other species. They don't need to be wiped out. They're just misunderstood. You don't sit there and chirp them off. That's just who they are.
Yeah. Wow, I'm so glad I have something to talk to.
That's what's behind the Klingons. How they depict the Klingon sexuality on Star Trek.
Yeah.
You end up coming away with battle scars and
no, it's not like they don't hurt you like that. They just make you. Yeah, I can't explain. It's just an experience of a lifetime. That's for sure.
They don't make you bleed. You're saying?
No, it's whatever you like. So if you like to bleed, then they'd make you bleed. But if you didn't like to bleed, they would make you bleed.
Okay, that sounds cool.
I'm so glad that we had this. We're able to talk about the same experience. That's just freaking crazy, man.
Yeah, but that's why I defend them now. That's why I so for example, we'll back up a story. So when I got out of my 20 and back, and I reached the age of 26, so think about that. I was taken when I was 6 years old, and then my memories didn't come back until I was 26 because I was in the 20 back program. Make sense? So when I hit 20 years, my 6-year-old, my memories started to come back. Then I started to hit depression, because I want to go back, because all the experience I had was way more amazing than sitting in Vancouver, Canada, going to work 9 to 5, paying bills to a slave system in the debt system. I'd rather go off-world in a reptilian body and travel the universe with them and do portal traveling, stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So then I meditated one night, and I was very emotional. I started crying, like, please just take me back. And because I was a general, I was very highly respected, and they would take me out. So it's like a part-time service now. It's like it's like National Guard service. I could stay home, but I can still take leave if they would take me. But a lot of super soldiers have this high-pitched ring in their left ear. I don't know if anyone has ever said that. So with the implants, they put us from the lab.
Yeah.
Yes. Karen says she has it.
Yeah,
I have it all the time. I had one today too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's for a couple seconds, and I figure if my ear's ringing, I got to answer. It's like a phone. I got to answer it. Go meditate.
It's a telepathic connection for them to keep tabs on you, because they'll like read your mind, or it's a telepathic connection, like it's a warning, like you're going somewhere tonight, so prepare yourself, like type thing.
Does anybody get the pain? I get a pain behind my right ear. Where my implant is, and it just throbs. Mine's right ear. I wonder if it's different species. Certain ones get the left ear, some other ones get the right ear. But
I've known two people that had it in the temple. Yeah, in the temple area, they got pain in the temple area. And
it's different. Like, so there's 20.
Sinus. Yeah,
there's 22 different alien beings with 22 different agendas. So every person that's abducted and used for their agenda has a different implant to their cause, if that makes any sense.
Have you ever written that up? That would be a great thing to have. We can figure out which aliens are interacting with us, who's taking us, and what's their agenda. So I'm going to encourage you to write that up. Yeah.
Well, our agenda. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say, my ear experiences are much different because, as Janet knows, I'm in touch with a particular group of Zetas that reside in Albuquerque, the Sandia crew, and they've actually given me several upgrades, but they basically dip me. But the liquid that it would come out of my ears, but my ears are a lot more sensitive now, and they pop a lot more ever since I've been enhanced. So it's a completely different feeling. But any kind of pressure change, it immediately it really affects me very sensitive.
I had the same thing as a child. I actually had ear surgery because the pressure change would drive my ears insane. Also, you can do also diet changes on this world. So if you stay off fluoride long enough, like drink fluoride water or just drink just pure distilled positive charged water, your pineal gland comes back. So from birth, everyone is fed like McDonald's or tap water or just crap food. That shit is designed to dumb you down and make you a docile worker. But if you actually stay away from the system food and system water, you actually become a complete psychic being. So now my psychic powers come back. Oh, well, I'm talking about society, but yeah, they upgraded you that way. They upgraded me as in I'm intuitive. I can predict when things are going to happen towards myself. I can look at someone's energy field and predict their personality traits and how they're going to act. That's a few things I can do in this world.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, they've completely cleared the.
We've gone rogue. Okay, let's get our talking stick back. Let's let Karen speak. Go ahead, Karen. We got 2 minutes before the break, so make it quick.
This will be a quick question, and hopefully answer is short. I'm also checking people who have synesthesia, which is like a combination of your senses, so you can hear colors and see music and that sort of thing. I was just wondering if you had any experience like that.
I can hear if I'm quiet enough. I can hear voices, not voices in my head, but I can hear voices in other rooms, if that makes any sense. If I I have let's say 27 years of I call it sheep food, like McDonald's and bad shit and tap water. So now I've been detoxing for a long time. So my psychic abilities are coming back where I can if I actually really in tune into people's minds, I can hear their voices and stuff like that, or I can hear the best one I have right now is energy. So if I'm having a face-to-face conversation with the person in front of me, I can actually feel their energy, of their intentive of what they want to be with me or do to me, or if they're lying, or if they have a false intentions, if they are good people or not.
Fabulous. Thank you.
It's called being empath. Yeah.
Wow.
I agree with you. So
go ahead.
Well, after the break, I can tell you guys more about the pedophile rings if you want.
Yeah, we'll have to save that for when we come back, because the commercial break is going to come on in a second here. Right?
I would like to say a few words that, it's in every one of us to be reptilian, because from the Council of Hatona in the Andromeda group, so that the Atlanteans and the reptilians who were underneath Lemuria and underneath the surface didn't wipe each other out. It was decided that the groups could contribute, and one of the groups that contributed to the proto-human was reptilians, and they gave us the brainstem, the part of you, like I'm a person of peace, but I can tell you when I was attacked by dogs, and I became a reptilian in charge to lead dog, and I as peaceful and loving as I am to dogs, I would kill that dog if I had to. That's my reptilian, and it's in every one of us to be
I
reptilian.
can talk to you guys about that after break, about how a super soldier mind works when they get pissed off.
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we got a lot to cover when we come back from the break.
I felt that possibility in the back of my mind where it could kick in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And I've done things way beyond my height and strength, which shows that I have that part too. I've blocked open chairs. Okay. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Enjoy your commercial break. See you in 5.
Okay.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
In breaking news, a visiting Syrian diplomat reported today that their population is evolving rapidly and advancing into a fifth-dimensional consciousness. They are seeking peace with all cosmic cultures, which may mean that the Earth will be asked to join the prestigious Galactic Federation of Light Alliances. Please join Debbie West and Michael Hathaway on Lost Knowledge, Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Studio A, for the latest breaking news on the Star Visitors' peaceful contact and the ongoing project of cleansing the Earth.
Who are you? I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you.
Why am I here?
You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision, which has led you inexorably here.
You haven't answered my question.
The Matrix is older than you know. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equation.
Choice. The problem is choice.
Right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Be here Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Private Eye Matrix Revealed with Monique Lassonde.
Hello, my name is Mr. Rowe. I am the host of Reality Extraction,
on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I utilize logic, intellect, and magic to methodically atomize, vivisect, analyze, examine, study, scrutinize, and extract an essence of reality from a fog of illusion and confusion. You can find me on Studio B every Thursday at 1700 hours Pacific Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. No topic taboo, no subject too strange. I strive to take a neutral standpoint during the dissection of the topic at hand. That's Reality Extraction with Mr. Rowe on Revolution Radio.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Let's imagine. If you glimpsed the future, were frightened by what you saw, what would you do with that information? You would go to who? Politicians? Captains of industry? And how would you convince them? Data? Facts? Good luck. The only facts they won't challenge are the ones that keep the wheels greased and the dollars rolling in. But what if there was a way of skipping the middleman, putting the critical news directly into everyone's head? The probability of widespread annihilation kept going up. The only way to stop it was to show it. To scare people straight. Because what reasonable human being wouldn't be galvanized by the potential destruction of everything they've ever known or loved? To save civilization, I would show its collapse. How do you think this vision was received? How do you think people responded to the prospect of imminent doom? They gobbled it up like a chocolate eclair. They didn't fear their demise. They repackaged it. It can be enjoyed as video games, as TV shows, books, movies. The entire world wholeheartedly embraced the apocalypse and sprinted towards it with gleeful abandon. Meanwhile, Earth was crumbling all around you. You've got simultaneous epidemics of obesity and starvation. Explain that one. Bees and butterflies start to disappear. The glaciers melt. Algae blooms all around you. The coal mine canaries are dropping dead, and you won't take the hint. In every moment, there is the possibility of a better future. But you people won't believe it. And because you won't believe it, you won't do what is necessary to make it a reality. So you dwell on this terrible future and you resign yourselves to it. For one reason, because that future doesn't ask anything of you today. Because that future doesn't ask anything of you today. Yes, you saw the iceberg, warned the Titanic. But you will just steer for it anyway, full steam ahead. Why? Because you want to sink. You gave up.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the number one listener-supported radio station on the planet. Not giving up. Revolution Radio. Radio.
Hello, this is Maggie Rose McGrath of The Concord Show.
And co-host Marine Corps Map, coming to you on Monday and Tuesdays in Studio A, noon to 2 Eastern.
And Studio B on Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern, with educational, instructional, information, and situational updates, often with wonderful guests on the current landscape in the U.S. and overseas.
This is a go.
We are with you, side to side, and back to back.
Please join us on Monday through Wednesdays,
as well as other hosts and guests here on Revolution Radio.
We're not gonna take it anymore. That's right, we're not gonna take it anymore. We said we're not gonna take it anymore. That's right, we're not gonna take it anymore.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and FreedomSlips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, FreedomSlips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome back to Stargate to the Cosmos. And I'm your host, Janet Kerr Lesson, with my co-hosts, Dr. Sasha Alex Lesson, Karen Christine Patrick, Kevin Estrella, producer Thomas Becker, and our guest this week is Joel Lakey, also known as General Hendricks. So before we get back to our conversation, there was a lot of stuff we were talking about in between. I hope somebody was taking good notes. We can cover that again because that was good stuff. I want to remind everybody to please go over to the donation button on revolution.radio and make your donation this week. We really need your donations to stay on air, to continue to bring you programs like this. Mad Painter, where are we in our fundraising?
We have 1,127 and we need 2,600. It's the 12th, almost halfway, and we're almost halfway, so we're not doing too bad.
Not doing too bad, but we still could use the donation, so please, please, please. Even if you just donate $5, it's a cup of coffee, and it's not that much. Okay, so before we took the break, we were talking about so many things, but I know Sasha and Joel were talking about all kinds of stuff. Sasha, ask a question again, one of the questions you asked to get us back on track during the break.
Okay, one of the reasons that I really want General and people that have had experiences like him to come on our podcast is because it's like a treasure. Joel was in a group of 5, and we have some Canadians. 2 of their group got together. This will be the biggest thing once you start talking to, we know there's 4 other people out there that are connected with Kevin and his group of 5. If you could just talk to him, both your lives would just expand immensely. So that's what we want to know about, is the group of 5 and how that works.
Kevin has a group of 5 too?
No, not me.
No, there's other people that are finding they're in groups. They may have served together. When they start talking to one another, they get this. Yeah, they get their big ahas, and they start. It's like it opens the memory banks, and they start getting more and more recollections of what happened, how it happened. Yes, go ahead. Explain that, please.
Okay, so what happens is, so I came from my home planet called Ykarta, which is a 6th-dimensional race. So we vibrate on the 6th-dimensional plane of existence. Earth is a 3rd-dimensional plane of existence. So that means it vibrates a little less faster than a 6th-dimensional race. So on our planet, we travel in groups of 5s because our planet is a massive consciousness. Just like Earthlings, people have a mass consciousness too. It's like an iCloud, I call it. Everyone's connected to it. So in our home planet, when we want to travel, 5 of us will walk onto water, and we'll be in our energy soul form. We'll be not in a biological form. It will just be a humanoid shape of energy, a blue energy. And we'll walk onto the water, and we'll just meditate, and this big light orb will come out of the water, wrap around our bodies of energy, and we'll become one with the orb. And we'll just think together, and with thought, we can travel anywhere in the universe. That's how we go to different planets. So we came to this world, we landed on Earth with just thought, instant travel, and we had to vibrate at a 3rd-dimensional vibration to come here. So our light orb will stay above Earth, and then they'll project, our light orb will project our consciousness, our lower.
Hello, you there?
That's totally fascinating what you're saying. Elena Ka explained to us how she was training super soldiers they were in a pool, and the water was getting higher and there was no way out, but if they could make a bubble with other people, they would stay afloat. And it's the same, she was training them kind of the same thing that you're describing, Joel. It's fascinating.
I think we lost him. We'll have to carry on. Mad Painter, I think we lost both Karen and Joel. Are you trying to get them back on for us? Are you aware that
Karen resigned?
Hey, sorry about that. My phone dropped again.
Oh, Karen left?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know she didn't come back. Okay, so go ahead, Joel. Ask Joel that question again. Say what you wanted to.
We want to know about who was in your five. What did it feel like? Who are they? What sense do you have of them? Tell me some more about you and the five, please.
Well, how it started out is last year I went to Sedona, Arizona, and I was told by other people, other stars that I talked to, like everyone seems to have a piece of your puzzle to your big picture. And I started getting information over time about where it came from and stuff like that, and all the puzzle of my picture started to come to light. And I was meditating in Sedona, Arizona, and I just meditated, I want to see my ship that I came here on. And this light orb came down from the sky, started pulsating in front of me, and then it disappeared, like it went back to the sixth dimension. Huh. And then I was told over time through my higher consciousness that's sitting in my ship, which is me, that I'm projected into this body, into my lower consciousness, which vibrates at a third dimensional plane. Then I was told from another Starseed that, I was told my whole time we came here at 5, but I asked this guy, I'm like, do you know where they are? Because he's a powerful psychic. He said he meditated on it. He's like, yeah, you're spread out all over the world. Like I told you earlier, one in Canada, United States, Eastern Europe, UK, and then so on. And I have no idea who they are. I believe it's 3 males and 2 females. Never met them here. I know we'll all meet together once we leave these bodies, because we'll return to our ship and we'll share our experiences. But that's all I know so far.
I've actually met one of my team members, and we've interviewed her, and I've interviewed her. Her name is Elizabeth April, and she and I discovered that we're both team members, and we were activated at exactly the same time, which was August 21st, 2014. And with her abilities, she actually was the one who read inside me and told me my reptilian history, and that that I existed back in ancient Egypt, and it was reptilian general. And so there's a lot more synchronicities with her and I too. But so I have met at least one of my team members. And I believe actually.
I know Elizabeth.
Yeah, and I believe actually Hildegard Gemne, she's my other team member too. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Joel doesn't know these people, but I've met both Hildegard and Elizabeth, and they are both going to be at Stargate to the Cosmos, either via Skype or live. We're trying to get as many people as possible to the conference. We're working on generating funds to, of course, transport everybody and house everybody, because this is a family reunion in the works here, and also, if we're all together, and there's something extra when we're in person, breathing the same air, sharing the same energy, being in the same space, that more and more memories start coming to the surface, and we start to become more conscious and aware of our missions, why we're here, and what we have to do to complete our missions and make things happen for the good, for the positive. So we only, reptilian or otherwise, it seems that who's gathering around us are positive beings that are here for this movement into higher levels of consciousness. So, Joel, you told me at Contact in the Desert how you have become aware all the way back to like a source being. Can you explain that to our listeners? What do you mean by a source being, etc.?
So what happened is I always share my story when I meet people, and then other Starseeds will give me their psychic connection of a piece of my puzzle so I can put my picture together. This ally guy I was talking to, he always is one of my mentors I look at for advice in this world, and he was telling me that my species was directly created from source. There's a thing called the 12 rays of consciousness of all conscious beings from the source of all creation. Then next to it was my species that was created, that we travel the universe, protecting consciousness from negative beings or suppression. And it's our job to incarnate into many planets and worlds. And just like a team of 5 of us can easily disrupt like a government society or a kingship or any type of planet that's being suppressed. And it's our job to just travel the universe after it. So after this battle is done, this Earth, then I go into my ship and I go to another planet that needs to do it, and I incarnate. I call them tours. I'm supposed to be here for 91 years. I'm 31, so I have some time, 60 years to go. I call it just a 91-year tour. And I've been alive for billions of years, so 91 years on this planet is just like a blink to my existence, if that makes sense.
The Rolling Stones have been on a tour for 91 years, too.
Yeah.
I guess this...
Wait, I wanted to hear that sentence and you take it, Sash. What did you say, Kevin?
I said the Rolling Stones have been on a 91-year tour as well.
Not quite, but yeah. Okay. I saw the Rolling Stones in an amusement park back in 1966, and they were just playing the full-time stage. So I saw them before they were the Rolling Stones. All right. And I'm not 91 years old, so anyway, that's cute. Okay. Go ahead, Tosh. You were going to make a comment.
Well, what I ask of all soldiers, and I get different answers, is do the souls of any that you've killed haunt you?
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all. It's just every death is just a kill of an avatar. So no one's soul is actually ever killed. You can't kill a soul. Every incarnation is just a new avatar body of an experience.
So it's like a video game.
Oh, if you ever seen
we're like in a virtual.
Like that. This is a holographic universe. I've seen a holographic universe. I've seen it. If you meditate hard enough, you can see the vibration of it.
Yeah, we're Cylons.
So
we get reborn again right away.
Yeah, we get recycled. So since this is kind of like an agreement going up to the highest level of existence, that we come into this subroutine, this little matrix play, and we play super soldier, and we play, good, bad, evil, like, dark. Yeah. It's a free will choice. So everybody's here, so that's why you don't get soul attachment. So if somebody comes, like we've had people come to us though, and they say, I've got soul attachments and this and that. Is that because of perhaps like their own sense of guilt or remorse, or what happens that people even identify that they believe they have attachments?
Oh, is that like?
Anybody have any ideas about that?
Well, I would just say that when I work with Roger Wilger, what we found is that when soldiers were engaged in honorable combat, there was no ghost, there was no karma, there was no guilt. That ordinary combat by a soldier is different than killing somebody under some other circumstances.
I can relate to that quickly for a quick second. So, like when I was in my super soldier body and we were sent to Mars, and that if you guys ever seen the movie Avatar, those 2-legged and 2-arm machines that people walk around and stuff, that's a real thing. That's where the movie Avatar got it from. And I remember flying over top of the battalions of those machines on this hovercraft. It was like a helicopter, but it hovered. And I remember I talked to Ken Johnson about that, and he confirmed that he also flew one of those because he was in the secret space program as well. And I was the general, and I'd fly over, and they're like, I was like looking at my battalions and armies I was in charge with. And so when we were in battle, we weren't just behind the scenes. I would engage in battle with them. I wouldn't send my troops into battle without me being in the front lines with them. And when we would battle, we would slaughter the reptilians, they would slaughter us, but over time, we grew respect for each other. It's like when two tough guys fight each other, they actually become friends after, if that makes any sense. You respect each other's strength. So there's no, like, karma or, like, I need to get you back type thing.
Oh.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a source being, though, are there other beings that are source beings? I've heard the Anunnaki are source beings, that the original source beings, the first subparsing down into lower density and levels of vibratory frequency. Go ahead.
There's a thing called light and darkness, right? In the beginning of all time, there was just light. And over the millions and millions of years of people existing in their avatar bodies. It was just like an existence of happiness and love and excitement. There was no such thing as pain, fear, death, or betrayal. And then Source created his mirror image of himself, which was his evil side, the darkness of him. And he was sent out into the universe to have free will choice of whatever he could do, but he was only limited to certain powers, but he could still create, and that was also known as the AI, which humans call the devil. And after billions of years of like incarnating on planets and people experiencing death and all that stuff, it's like it's time for Source to reel back his mirror image and bring back peace and love to this universe, because people are tired of being trapped in incarnations and this AI going into people's protons and controlling them and manipulating them and trapping them in incarnations and stuff like that. So that's what I've been experiencing with.
Okay, so where else do we want to go with your story? So you've been here in this avatar for 31 years. Okay, go ahead, Kevin. You have a question?
Oh, I did, yeah. Can you
Go ahead.
do you have any elaboration in regards to what is going on with the Mandela effect? Why is
that's a good experience, yeah. The Mandela effect is the same thing as my time travel warfare. So say we're back in time. It's like that thing. You go back in time, but you like crinkle the wrong leaf. It's going to have a ripple reaction to changing time. That's the Mandela effect. So that means when the Mandela effect happened, something happened in the past. Someone went back in time and changed our timeline. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're changing. They're what I've heard from other people is that they're continually playing with the timeline. And so that's why you have these lead-throughs, because there's somebody that has a certain agenda, and that kind of ties in with your story. So who are these aliens that have a certain agenda or a certain timeline or a certain reality they're trying to inflict on everybody else? And,
it's any alien group that has an agenda of control. That's who they are. If they have their own manipulation. Every alien group, like every government, has their own agenda. Every human being has their own secret agenda of what they want to do. So any alien group that goes back in time to screw up our future timeline has an agenda of their own purpose of whatever they need it for.
Do you have any idea what their purpose is, what their agenda, what do they get out of it? Why don't they just leave us alone and go to their own world? Yeah.
They create us. It's just the same thing as like mankind flew to Mars, and we wanted to mine oil because we ran out of oil on our planet. The whole Anunnaki story, and we created robots with AI consciousness, and they mined the oil for us. And over thousands of years, we fell in love with them. And when the oil was done being mined, we gave Mars to their planet, but we still ruled in the background as like used them for like research and stuff like that. That's what this planet is. They own us. They own our body. They don't own our consciousness. They just own our bodies.
Right. And it's interesting, you've changed it to oil, the original story with gold. And that's why gold is so valuable. So somehow the story got changed from gold to oil.
Just making us what's value to us. People are obsessed with oil on this planet, so I'm not just obsessed with gold. Yeah.
Right. So oil, gold, it's just an analogy. Anyway, it seems like strange that they would, just wouldn't leave us alone and would just go do their own lives, but they, it's just like,
why won't we leave cattle alone? Why won't we leave cattle alone? Why won't we leave chickens alone?
I think everything is entrained with everything else, and it's impossible to leave anything alone because you're connected with everything and everyone.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're incarnated on this planet, and do you simultaneously exist on other worlds and other forms? Since time is time just truly an illusion of this? Yeah, are you in other avatars, and is time just an illusion of this Earth plane, or tell us a little more about that?
I can explain timelines. So timelines are like, there's a main timeline of existence of all being. It's like, let's just say timeline today that we're talking. Then there's a parallel universe today that was created where we didn't have this conversation. Then there's a parallel universe created today about us having this conversation with a different outcome. That's what dreams are. So when people go to sleep at night, when humans go to sleep at night and they have like these experiences in parallel universes, that's them living out their other choices they didn't make in those parallel universes to this main timeline. That's why people keep trying to screw with our own timeline, our main timeline, to have a different ripple effect. But like Corey Good talked about that, he said, no matter what they do with the change of the timeline, you can change the direction of someone's timeline, but the outcome will always be the same. Your destiny will always be the same. It's just like watching the new Star Trek series about multiple dimension timeline experiences.
Yeah, well, they're a different time than there's Star Trek Prime and all the variations.
Yeah.
Right.
Stargate.
So,
Marisol.
That was disclosure too. Yeah. So if they want to really know what's going on, watch the. I haven't watched the whole new Star Trek. I watched the first season and then I kind of got busy with other stuff. So I'll go back and take a look at that. I think it's there through the second season. And Stargate. So when you travel through time in your avatar, do you need to use technology in Stargates, or are you able to access your reptilian self? I mean, what do they do to get all these people, in a secret space program to their various destinations? Yeah, how does it work?
How it works for traveling in higher dimensional bodies. So say a third dimensional body, we need to use technology to travel. In a fourth dimensional body, you still need technology to travel, but there's some spirituality to it. In fourth and sixth time in travel period, is just with thought, because you're in a higher dimensional body and you can move things with your mind. You can open Stargate portals with your mind and walk through it, end up on a planet somewhere else instantly.
Mm-hmm. So I have all these experiences in all the above, and I'm trying to figure out who I am in the grand design of things, because I've done all the above, and I've also had interactions with hundreds of thousands of different species. And one of my main interactions with a tiny Janet from age 4 to about 12 was with a reptilian being. Now, he would come through a Stargate in my backyard, and because I was afraid of him, I experienced it as that he was trying to take my soul out of my body. But later, I realized that through regression and reflection, that his type of communication was more intense than, say, perhaps a mantis or a gray. Is that what you find? Is that the different telepathic communications vary based on some kind of vibratory frequency or perception?
All my experiences with different alien groups have always been the same, because of my consciousness it's just normal for me. So it's just like me speaking English to someone, that's just normal. So when I'm in the telepathic body, me speaking telepathy to them is just a normal thing to me, because I remember my past life reincarnations and where I come from.
Mm-hmm. Well, I now have no problems with telepathic communication with the reptilians, but I had trouble. What was going on that I had trouble when I was a young girl, and now I've adapted and I'm able to do it flawlessly with no perception of any kind of discomfort. Do you have any idea what happened or what's going on?
I can barely hear you. What did you say, sorry?
Oh, I said that I now have communication with reptilians, and I don't have the same discomfort I had when I was a young girl in my human child incarnation avatar. And so I'm not sure on a conscious level how I adapted to it, but maybe since you have kind of an overview that I lack, you might be able to explain how you tell. Go ahead.
When I was 26 years old, and if someone told me about this stuff, this conversation you're having when I was 24 or 25, I'd think it's complete bullshit. But when I was 26 years old, I had my first encounter with those beings on that ship, where they told me what my home planet was. They projected love and it's okay, don't be scared, like you're completely scared. They project those feelings. And over time, experiencing telepathic connections with other alien beings, it's just images. So when you and me are speaking now, they call it slave speech. It's third dimensional talk. And when I talk to a reptilian or to another higher dimensional being, they project images in your head with emotions, and you just understand instantly. It's like they'll project an entire book in your head, and you'll understand it within seconds. You don't need to read it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, that's how I find on the highest level you're communicating not in language, which is a slowing down and a sub-parsing of information, because in the human form you have to wrap your words around a tongue and a mouth and air in and air out. And
that's why I get irritated talking to humans sometimes. I get very irritated talking to humans when I have to explain, I have to talk to them in a paragraph conversation. I'm like, I think in my head, if this was a telepathic being, this conversation would be done in seconds instead of 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you learned how to enjoy that in any way, or is it always irritating?
Well, at first it was irritating as the fact that I would go to bed, and then so time doesn't exist, right? So I would go to bed, say at midnight, and I would be taken on my body, and they would take me to the home world, or show me memories of my secret space program battles, or take me to new battles to do. I'd be gone for years at a time, and then they'd put me back in my body at 6 p.m. So 6 hours pass on Earth, but I'd be gone for years in their existence. So that makes sense. So I'd be mentally drained, but my body be completely, I slept. So my body slept, but my mind hasn't slept. So I'd wake up, there's a pounding headache, just I feel like I've been gone for years. It's only been 6 hours, and I'd sit there, write everything down because it's fresh in my head. It'd take me about an hour just to get out of bed, so I could come into this reality with my memories of this reality, so I could function and go to work in this reality.
Wow. Okay, Sasha or Kevin, your turn.
Okay, I want to hark back a little bit to this importance of recurrent dreams and how important it is to remember them. I think it's Kate Wolf that said, how we're all interrelated. Every life is meant for living. Every song is meant to be sung. Every dream. I'm getting all screwed up here. Every life is living. Every song is to be sung. Every gift is meant for giving. It's the same for everyone. For the world was made for dreamers, those who dream, and so it seems that the world was made for dreaming if we just wake up and dream.
It's called this reality, or this universe was created for experiences, dreaming and experience.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, I got a great suggestion for you, because I've just started to do this myself. It was suggested by Otter, who's Sue Walker's husband, and Sue Walker channels with the Sandia crew. I've been starting to sleep with a selenite crystal block underneath my pillow. And what's that?
If you ever saw my room, it's like crystaled right up. Yeah, it helps me. I don't mean to interrupt you, but my house is completely crystalled up, especially over my bed where I sleep. On top of my head, there'll be this crystal rock that right beside me. These crystal rocks project energy over me, and it will help me be more vivid in my experiences. So remember you told me how the reptilians take you, but they'll leave you in a dream state where you're still in this reality?
Yes.
So when I interact with some reptilians, I'll be laying in my bed, and they'll take my consciousness out, but I'll still be tied to my consciousness will be still in my bed, but I'll be in a computer AI holographic program with them doing training programs of military stuff. But I'll be battling with them and wrestling with them, but I'll be laying in my bed and I can feel my cat walk over my body. It's like a weird experience, how they just don't fully take you out of your body.
Huh. That's crazy.
Yeah,
because I've started to sleep with a selenite block behind my head, and it completely activates my lower stem of my brain. All the where your pineal gland is and all that, and it expands my consciousness outside of my skull, and I've had some very it helps enhance the lucid dream state, I find.
Yeah, so that's how. So when they take me out of my body, and I'll do training programs for other starseeds that come to this world. So they'll make me train other starseeds that want to come to this world, like how to interact with humans, how to act human, etc. They'll make me hold this crystal in my right hand. It's like a big red crystal that I'll hold in my hand. I just hold that. As long as I'm holding that in my hand, I'll be completely lucid in that experience, and I'll be completely training and talking to them. And then they said, when I want to go back to my own reality, just drop the stone. And as soon as I drop the stone, I'll be right back in my body.
Crazy. I meant to ask you, those two reptilian girlfriends of yours, can you, like, pass my phone number on to them, and have them come hang out here?
Well, the reason I would never do that is they left me behind when I was in the military program. So.
Yeah.
They left you behind. Tell us about that. Do you feel emotions when you're in your reptilian self, or is that kind of like, who cares?
Yes. If you're a hybrid, yes. But if you're not a hybrid, you're a complete reptilian. Reptilians don't have emotion. Emotion is a human thing, like a third-dimensional thing. If you're in higher dimensional planes, there's no emotion. So it's the same thing when I astral travel in my mind. I'll astral travel into other worlds, and I'll be floating in the sky like 30,000 feet up in like an energy form being, like a light orb type shape. And I'll float down, and I'm remembering in this reality, I'm scared of heights. Why am I not scared in this reality? And then realize there's no emotion. Then I'll go float up into like buildings and look inside and watch other alien beings interact with each other. Then I'll float inside, and then I'll like just watch them interact. I call it being a fly on the wall. But emotions are human emotions are very high range because you have 22 different alien genetics inside your body. So you have 22 different genetic alien emotions in your body. That's why we feel extreme emotion. But when you're in a reptilian body, a fully reptilian body, there is no emotion. So there is no hatred or, sadness or happiness. There's just doing.
So what's going on with this planet? We have people like David Icke, and he demonizes reptilians, and we've got, people saying that the Queen and her family, the Queen of England, and they're all shape-shifting reptilians, and that whole subculture of information and folklore. Maybe it's real. We don't know. What is going on?
There's no such thing as shape-shifting. It's a projection. So if you see a reptilian or even a psychic being, they'll project the image in your head of what they look like, and you think that's what you're seeing. There's no actual shape-shifting technology. It's just like they'll project like a family friend, so you're comfortable with them, but like they're really standing in front of you, but you can't see them because you see what they want you to see.
So it's a projection.
It's a projection in your head, and you think you're seeing you think you're seeing your dad's friend, but really it's an alien being sitting in front of you. It's just one of their mind tricks they can do on you.
That happened to me a couple weeks ago.
Oh no!
That happened a couple weeks ago. I was visited by PETA, who's one of the Sandia crew. It was the first time I actually was allowed to have a conscious recall of while he was visiting me. It was incredible. That was actually the first night I slept with a selenite block. But I was sleeping on my couch, and I heard these 2 feet land a few feet from me, and I just pretended to be asleep. And he walked up to me, and he gently cradled his arm behind my back and my head. He supported me, and he lifted my legs up, and he just cradled me like I was a little baby, and it was incredible. And I projected a hug of light to him, and he actually moaned in recognition of it. But then when he put me down, I was talking to him. I was so excited. He then projected a different face onto his face, and all of a sudden he looked like my old high school friend Drew Carmichael. But he didn't quite didn't have his hair right because he was bald all the way up and had this really strange like a mohawk. I was like, geez, you look just. It was like you look just like, and all of a sudden I wake, I open my eyes and I'm back on the couch. But I went from conscious state to conscious state. It was like this missing time. But he projected my old friend onto his own face.
That's how I catch these telepathic beings. So I'll be in an experience with them on another world, and they'll project themselves to be friends from high school or elementary school that I haven't seen in 20 years, or they'll project themselves as my dad's best friend. And I thought it was them, but then over time, like, you know what? why don't you show me who you really are? I know you're being false. Like, let me see who you really are. And the reason why they explain it to me, why they don't show them who they really are at first, is because they need you to have like a calm experience with them. Because if they show you like a reptilian body or like a 4-foot fly-looking being, you're gonna get scared and your energy aura will be screwed up and you'll be like thrown back in your third-dimensional body. So like this one experience said, just show me who you are. It's okay. So they're like, okay, turn around. So I turned around. Then he's like, okay, now you can look. So I turned back around, and it was just 5-foot being. It looked like the head of a fly, and he just had big eyes. He had fly features, but he was in a humanoid body. And then he said in my mind, "This is what I really look like." And I was just like, "Oh, well, that's cool. Like, why can you just show me that? Be honest with me in the first place."
And that's exactly what my experience has been. That they create things for my comfort. So sometimes there's things that are created, but what I'm comfortable with. So they'll have not just the beings, but the environments where I'm at. So I have all these, I call them screen memories. I'm going somewhere every night. Sometimes I'll have the illusion that I'm in Europe somewhere I've never been, or Australia somewhere I've never been. And, everybody's humanoid, but they probably look different, but they made them all humanoid. And then sometimes they'll slip things in, so I will just become aware. And they've been training me to not pop back in my body. And I go, I'm not on Earth. It's like, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. I'm not on Earth. And then I get into awe, and I'm learning not to go back into my body. And I am bilocating. I can have the cat walk over me. So my experiences have been, the last few years, the older I get, it's just magical. It's beautiful. I wake up and I'm so grateful and thankful that I've stopped having the fight or flight fear reaction. And then, because I've gotten comfortable, they invite me to like the big meetings that they have. So I like Elizabeth April. I'm like an ambassador, and I go to other worlds, and I'm in this avatar going there. So I don't know if I'm actually there, or if I'm projecting there. Sometimes we'll create something like lots of avatars. So they've asked me, what is it like being a 21st century human female in the United States of America? And at one point about 5-6 years ago, I said, help. We're going to blow up this planet. I love this planet. We're destroying it. We need intervention. I don't believe that we should be judged because we're not getting all the information. We're in this field of, false information.
I have different alien groups that will come visit me, and they'll always be in councils of 9. So there will be like alien groups here for the freedom of mankind. There will be alien groups here that are for the freedom of animals and their conscious being, because everything that moves, walks, turns left, turns right has a conscious soul in it. Even insects, all animals do. That's why ascended beings are vegetarians, because they don't cause negativity to other beings. That's why you can ascend. That's what mankind has to learn. If they want to ascend, they need to give up the meat and be a vegetarian race, which they were a long time ago. But yeah, so like I remember being visited by the Council of 9, who they were strictly here for the animals of this planet, and they asked me for a report on this world, and I said, well, to be all honest with you, if the humans don't go vegan, then the humans need to be removed. And that was, they're like, oh, agreed. Like, okay, yeah, the humans need to be removed. Then I'll be to a different council of like, that are here for the humans of the planet, and I'd be like, okay, well, the reptilians need to be removed. So it's like every starseed's like a spy on this planet. We're here to investigate, and we're here to report back to like different scenarios of change.
Well, that's a good point. Are you a vegan or vegetarian?
I tried to go vegetarian, and then I got sick, and then they told me the reason why I can't go vegetarian is because I'm 40% reptilian.
Right. So here we are. Like, I have problems going vegetarian. Sasha's been able to do it much easier than I have, and so it's the avatar. So how does that work? It's like tell my cat to go vegetarian. I don't think she would fare very well. So it's part of the design of the avatar you're animating.
Well, before the reptilians came here, all beings were vegetarians. Even animals and all that were vegetarians. And then you have the Anunnaki and reptilians coming here, the geneticists, and they went around the planet screwing with everyone's genetics, with animal genetics, sea life genetics. They started screwing with our genetics, and they all implemented their own genetics within our genetics, and they're a carnivore race. And so most of the beings in those became carnivores.
So what can we do to change that? Besides just, it seems to be like, like you said, you're working on.
Just like David Wilcox talks, the hardest thing is having this conversation with humans that are still stuck in the slave system, right? The matrix they live in, like where they think football is important, money is important, Kim Kardashian is important. Like you need to wake those people up first if there's any change.
Okay, Sasha, back to you. We haven't heard from you in a while.
This is fascinating. It just blows my mind, and I love the discussion. And just, General, just if you as we're coming close to the close, what are the main things you want us to know about your experience for yourself and for humanity?
One of my experiences, my overall experience, is that love conquers all, and our inner light will conquer all. But we have to have a mixture of a coin. One side of the coin has to be darkness, one side of the coin has to be light. Without light, there's no darkness. Without darkness, there's no light. We have to learn to live in synchronicity with our dark side and our light side. It's within us all. We all have it. But we have to do what's morally right if we want to ascend, or else we'll be stuck on this planet forever. This is a prison planet. If we just are born, go to school, get brainwashed, religion is also thrown in there too, a brainwash. Then we work the rest of our lives just to pay the debt money system. We have no time for ascension. We just reincarnate back into the same body, live the same experiences. To evolve, we need a positive revolution with a positive outcome. We don't need to go kill people. We need to wake people up and people start asking questions. And we need to get rid of world religions, and we need to get rid of the money system, the debt system. We need to work together as one to ascend.
So that brings me to a good question. Thanks. And that was amazing. I love it. So we have this monetary system here. What are their systems in other worlds and is everybody stuck with money? Does nobody have money? What systems of exchange of energy or resources do they have on other worlds that you've interacted with?
Can you repeat the question, please? It was cutting out.
Yeah, what systems do they have for their societies? How do they do trade, or how do they distribute resources?
Yeah, I can answer that question. So on most planets, say my planet, we don't have governments, we don't have kingship, we just have coexistence. Coexistence of love. If you have a heart of pure love, there is no need for policing. There's no need for judges or government officials. Government is designed to control and manipulate mankind. That's a reptilian thing. The reptilians also invented the money system. Reptilians also invented religion. Religion was designed to divide and conquer mankind, keep us fighting amongst each other about whose God is better, and it made mankind not evolve, because religion teaches people to wait for the Savior to come and fix their own problems, when mankind needs to unite under one flag and fix their own problems. Once people actually awaken, they will realize that we don't need to elect a government, we don't need police, we don't need religion to tell us about source. We can be source within ourselves, because we all come from source. We don't need to give money to the church to tell us what to do. As soon as that revolution starts to happen, then there will be a positive revolution where people will stand together as one of all races, and mankind will start to live positive, because they're tired of living in such a negative world. And once you become a positive planet, your vibration becomes higher vibration. That's how you will ascend as a planet together. You need to not ascend one at a time. You need to ascend as a group, as a planet.
Mm-hmm. So what's the first step? Yeah, this is the end result. And when people get bogged down is, okay, we've got the vision, we have the words, it's beautiful how we symbol it and language it, but we need a very practical, kind of down-to-earth first step that people can take. Otherwise, they get stymied and stifled, and they don't do anything. So what would be if you were to speak, what's the first thing they do? Go ahead.
Well, the hardest part is convincing 3 billion people that they've been lied to for the last 2,000 years about a church. The church, I'm not picking on God, I'm picking on the church. There is a source of creation, but there isn't what the church is preaching. Mankind, like with all these arrests in Hollywood and churches of those massive pedophile rings that are going on, that should be enough for mankind to wake up. Like mankind just has to. You can see it all over the world. There's like certain arrests, but it's not projected on CNN. You have to read it in newspapers because the world elites control the news. It's all filtered news, just like Donald Trump says. People just need to wake up, like one at a time. Like if we have this, it's like 10 people listen to this radio show, and those 10 people talk to another 10 people, and those 10 people talk to another 10 people. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Kevin or Sasha, we've got.
Actually, I was going to say.
7, 8 minutes.
Yeah, one thing that really fascinates me is the fact it's very rare to find someone who is so connected to their past lives and be able to express and those memories. One other person who I interviewed, her name is Joel Lakey, who's a reptilian hybrid, was able to tell me about her past life on WWI, her reptilian planet. But you're the second person I've ever spoken to with such a vivid recall of their past lives. It's unprecedented.
Yeah, it's been happening over the last 6 years. So imagine my experience, right? Like I'm trying to like go to work and be a normal citizen, but also these experiences happen every night. So I'm like trying to like how I exert them is by going to like conferences of contact in the desert. Every person there is like me, so it's like being at home. So it's like happiness for me, right? And then I have to go back home, play human for the day, and then at night time I can go do my experiences. But now I am who I am. I have tattoos of my experience. I wear starseed clothing just to project of everything. Like you want to like just to attract other starseeds to come and have a conversation with you, because a lot of starseeds are very like quiet and shy because they talk to this stuff to their friends, and their friends just laugh at them like they're crazy.
What is starseed clothing?
There's like some starseed people like called, there's like Rage Nation Apparel, and it's a guy in California who started this apparel company that's like sells starseed clothing, like starseed clothing of like awakening, like crystals and geometric shapes that have to do with ascension. It's just like a representation of who you are.
Oh, cool. It's called Starseed Clothing?
No, it's called Rage Nation Apparel.
Rage Nation. I gotta write this down.
Yeah, you can go. It's on. He's got lots of cool stuff on there. It's just like representing spirituality.
Wow. You have your own clothing. It's wonderful. We'll have to go.
It's amazing that
send that link to me.
Instead of wearing Nike and like Gucci and Louis Vuitton, why not wear something spirituality that actually means something?
Right.
Yeah, I need special clothing for when Pyramids of Mars is playing live again. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea. Sasha, we have about 3 minutes. Your turn to speak.
Okay, so what I want in these 3 minutes is anyone that's getting recurrent dreams, or thinks they might be a super soldier, or thinks they may have been taken and been working at some parallel job, do get in touch with Janet, because we're collecting a lot of stories. There's a big story which is coming out as people remember more. The more that you contact us and share your memories, the more you're going to stir other people's memories up. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. So
excellent show today. Excellent show.
Yeah, I tell people stop being scared and just tell their stories. The more people that tell their stories, the faster an awakening will happen, and then all the Starseeds can go home after this incarnation.
Yeah, I'm ready to go home now.
That's so true.
Oh, I'm ready to go home after this lifetime. I'm done. Yeah.
How do you find out what your home is if you don't know what it is?
That's the question I've always been asked. Every Starseed I talk to, a lot of them don't even know where they come from. A lot of them don't even know their name. I guess I was just special privileged with the first thing that I ever taught was where I came from. I guess because I have a certain direct duty or mission to do here. So every Starseed has their own awakening of their own path, and it happens over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have an idea, but I don't. I'm not able to speak with such clarity that you have, and it's really amazing, and I hope to achieve that somehow, but I'm not sure exactly how that will unfold. But I do get downloads every night. I guess I'm thick, It's like, when am I gonna get it? So I'm deep in the matrix, and I go, okay, was that real? Was that memory? So, but I'm getting to understand. This is the true nature of reality, and that we're all co-creating, making it up, and we're not victims, and we have control, and we can do it better. We can change lanes, switch channels, shift to love, and do it much better than we have.
Can I say something before I go? I'm actually working with this
guy
named Steve, I'm working with this guy named Steve, who is Corey Good's artist. And I'm going to start working with him on drawing my memories, because I know exactly what my super soldier body looked like. I know exactly what the reptilian ships look like. I know exactly the reptilian royal that I worked under, exactly what he looked like. So I want to get those, as soon as those pictures are drawn, I want to get them out there. So
nice.
Oh, I'd love to put them out. I've got your basic bio, and I need more information for your Stargate to the Cosmos presentation and what you're going to do, and the panels we're going to have you on. I'm going to wrap my head around that and get that out and fine-tune it and bring that to people in the next week or two. It's a big job because we're having 4 days. We have 6 rooms, and we're going from dawn to dusk. No, we're going from 7, 8 a.m. till midnight. So we've got a big expo coming up here in October 25th to 28th. Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Kevin, you're going to bring the Sandia ETs with Sue Walker and Otter?
Yes, I'm coming.
Yeah. Yes. You got to make them show up. How are we going to do that? We're just going to create a field or something and pull them in and here right in the middle of the room or something.
They will be there invisibly, but maybe I can try and get them to stick their heads out or do something.
Yeah.
So I know radar has been known to give raspberries in people's ears.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, final words to you, General Hendricks. Oh, I'm too late. Sorry. We'll have you back. Joel. We'll see you next week. Same time, same bad channel. Much love and blessings.
Thank you so much.
Oh, bye.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message. Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Any commercial advertising you may hear in this program is of the sole discretion and benefit of the host of whose program you are listening to. Revolution Radio does not endorse any commercial products, nor does it accept monetary compensation for on-air advertising of commercial products, nor will it ever. We are and shall remain 100% listener supported. Any product advertising on this program are considered used at higher risk, and Revolution Radio shall not be held liable for any claims or damages received from any product advertised within this program. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Let's imagine. If you glimpsed the future, were frightened by what you saw, what would you do with that information? You would go to who? Politicians? Captains of industry? And how would you convince them? Data? Facts? Good luck. The only facts they won't challenge are the ones that keep the wheels greased and the dollars rolling in. But what if there was a way of skipping the middleman, putting the critical news directly into everyone's head? The probability of widespread annihilation kept going up. The only way to stop it was to show it, to scare people straight. Because what reasonable human being wouldn't be galvanized by the potential destruction of everything they've ever known or loved? To save civilization, I would show its collapse. How do you think this vision was received? How do you think people responded to the prospect of imminent doom? They gobbled it up like a chocolate eclair. They didn't fear their demise.
Want entertainment designed just for you? Then check out customizable streaming TV from Xfinity. It makes your life simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity gives you customizable streaming TV options. Enjoy the most free shows anywhere on any device, and even access your streaming apps right on your TV with X1. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to learn more. Restrictions apply.